So let's first talk about the oxidative reaction or reaction 1 through 3 in the pentose phosphate pathway. And I told you guys that during this process, one molecule of glucose 6-phosphate is converted into one molecule of ribulose 5-phosphate. And during that process, one carbon dioxide is lost and we make 2 NADPH. Now let's also go to reaction 1. In the reaction 1, glucose 6-phosphate is converted into something called 6-phosphoglucono-delta-lactone. Now, and this is done by the enzyme glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. And during this process, 1 NADP plus is converted into 1 NADPH. Now, this reaction dehydrogenase, it removes one hydrogen from this molecule, and it happens to be this hydrogen. And when this hydrogen is removed, this changes into carbonyl carbon. And this lactone means a cyclic ester, and this is a cyclic ester because you can see this right here. And this hydrogen removed is given to the NADP plus, which converts NADP plus to NADPH. Now this finger I just drew to if someone have hard time understanding the structure of glucose 6-phosphate. So this middle finger analogy works for glucose and fructose. So this first finger is pointing down. It just shows the direction of OS pointing up or down in the molecule. So down, down, up, up, down, down, and it's 6-phosphate. So the phosphate goes up. And if this is a D-glucose, this CH2O group always points up, and this is biologically active glucose is D-glucose. Now let's go to reaction number 2, and in reaction number 2 we convert the 6-phosphoglucono-delta-lactone into 6-phosphogluconate. Again, this is again an oxidative state, so and it's catalyzed by enzyme 6-phosphogluconolactonase. And what happens is this molecule gets chopped over here, and the COO goes to the top, and then all this molecule straights up, and here we don't have any oxygen, and we get oxygen in right here. So we get extra oxygen, so this is also oxidative stage. Now finally, let's go to reaction number 3, in which the 6-phosphogluconolactone is converted into ribulose 5-phosphate. So you have this 6-phosphogluconate right here, and by enzyme 6-phosphogluconate dehydrogenase, it's converted into ribulose 5-phosphate. And during this process, this top COO minus gets out as CO2, and this OH is oxidized into a carbonyl oxygen. So in this process, two things happen. One is oxidation and one is decarboxylation. So this CO2 goes away, that's decarboxylation, and this is oxidized, that's oxidation. And if you guys have hard time knowing this, the name of this compound is 6-phosphogluconate. Gluconate basically means oxidized glucose, where this aldehyde carbon is oxidized into a carboxylic acid. That's why it's called a gluconate. ATE is carboxylic acid, so that's why it's called it. And this is our ribulose 5-phosphate, and the structure of ribulose is easy to remember. It's a 5-carbon containing compound, and all these oxygen point in the same direction. Now it doesn't really matter which way this carbonyl oxygen points, but these two, everything points to the right. Now we're going to talk about reaction 2 of pentose phosphate pathway. Now reaction stage 2 of pentose phosphate pathway is called isomerization and epimerization, and two reactions are there. And the first reaction in isomerization, this ribulose 5-phosphate is converted to ribose 5-phosphate. Ribulose 5-phosphate and ribose 5-phosphate are isomers. This is a ketose and this is a aldose, and this reaction is catalyzed by enzyme ribulose 5-phosphate isomerase, which makes sense. So this carbonyl group, this is a ketose, this is a aldose. So instead of this being the carbonyl carbon, in this case this is the carbonyl carbon. And reaction 6 is epimerization, and in epimerization stage, ribulose 5-phosphate is oxidized to xylulose 5-phosphate by enzyme ribulose 5-phosphate epimerase. And epimer are two sugars with one chiral center being the opposite. So you can look at this chiral center, the hydroxide is pointing this way, but in this carbon chiral center, this hydroxide is pointing this way. So these two are epimers of each other. And whether ribose 5-phosphate or xylulose 5-phosphate is produced depends on the cellular need. So that's our reaction 2 of pentose phosphate pathway. Now let's go to reaction stage 3.